All right, Tom, it's time to get into something that I've been excited about for about 15, 16 hours right now when I came across email from Tim Goodwin in my box. He listened to us playing some of these Rockford tracks. You listen to one right now. This is Rockford on My Mind. It was off of a 1982 album that was produced here in Rockford. I had a lot of questions about it and couldn't find any answers. Well, Tim reached out to me through email and said, I'm on that album. He's the bassist you're hearing in this song right here. And he had some stories to share. I said, well, you want to come on the show? He said, absolutely. And we've got him right here. Tim, good morning. How you doing, man?
Hey, good morning. That's a great bumper music segment right there, I tell you.
That's good. And I want to introduce you, Tom Liu. He's my co-host here. He's the one that was in the music industry, or still is.
Not past tense. Hey, Tim, how are you?
Hey, Tom. Nice to meet you.
But,
nice to be on today.
That is awesome. Well, all right. So we've got quite a bit to get to here, and you were very nice, and you wrote down some notes that were very thorough, and I kind of want to go through them. So
sure.
So let's start with you gave me the parameters of the contest, and the first line you had there, it said you had to be an amateur. So we're going to date you here and give
sure.
people your age. But how old were you when you were on this record?
I was 17. I was 17 years old, and one of the first things I want to say is this is one of the experiences that you have in life that keeps coming back to you in weird ways. You know, whether you hear it here, whether you hear it there, whether you turn on the radio and you hear a local station playing it. It's just kind of one of those things that's it's like a bad penny.
So when like a bad penny, that's good. So when you heard us playing it a Monday morning here when Riley and I were gone, when was the last time before that you had thought about this?
I had heard it. I had heard it on at an expo, and probably 20 years ago, at one of the Chamber of Commerce's expos that they had. Business expos. My company was there at a booth, and all of a sudden I heard "Make It in Rockford" music. Not necessarily our song, but songs from that particular album.
So you were
amateur. It's been 20 years.
So you had to be an amateur to do this. How long had you been playing bass?
Oh, well, I was 17 years old. I basically just graduated high school, so I'd been playing maybe 3 years.
And where'd you go to high school out here?
East High.
High.
Yeah.
East High. We got a big East is on our Friday night lights tonight against Harlem. If you want to tune in,
awesome.
I'll be calling the game there. So I like that tie-in. So how'd you find out about the contest? How did you get together with the other musicians and get into the studio?
Yeah. Back in '82, everybody wanted to be in the garage bands. The long hair. Playing Cheap Trick music and such like that, and a buddy of mine through my brother Jim DePriest and Frank Ryberg were already in kind of an established garage band, if you will, and they needed a bassist for this song contest. Jim came up with this song contest. Hey, Rockford is doing this. They want to promote Rockford. They want to promote the Metro Center. They want to promote. Bringing it home to Rockford and through the song contest, and they asked me to play bass, and it was kind of cool. You had to be amateur. That was one of the things that was one of the biggest parameters. But there were some other rules to the songs as well.
Yeah, you said there had to be rules to song in the format. What did they ask you to do?
Well, they wanted it less than 3 minutes, just for sake of ease, I guess, but you had to mention some of the things that were important to the Rockford Chamber of Commerce to promote. So they wanted you to promote parks. They wanted to promote the Metro Center, the shopping, the entertainment, the hotels, the business-friendly atmosphere, and kind of wrap it all up by making it your home. So, you could, as you listen to those songs on that album, you can see that every one of them has the common thread or common theme of mentioning the Metro Center, mentioning shopping, and all those things that we had to kind of put in there. And the chamber was looking for anything that could promote those they could use as a PSA or create a jingle out of or put on billboards.
So, Tim, this is Tom. The songs on the album, did you play on all of those or just one of them? And then were they all with the same general group of people recording them, or was it all different people?
It was all different people. I was only on one song, "Rocket on My Mind." There was out of the songs, two of the songs on the album were not in the song contest. "Make It in Rockford," "Weigh the Difference," and "Make It in Rockford," both the ending songs on both sides. They were not included in the contest. Those were the Chamber of Commerce guys and commissioned artists to do that. The other ones were submitted songs by local musicians that were judged for content and relativity to the contest, and then we were brought back to do a live performance in front of the chamber.
Yeah. You mentioned that in your notes. Where was this live performance? Was it at the chamber?
It was at the chamber. I actually was hoping it would be at the Metro Center because 17-year-old me wanted to rock it out, right? But it was at the chamber offices, and it was kind of a real closed session. I don't remember seeing any judges there. In fact, I think in my notes I said that Rick Nielsen was a no-show.
Yeah, that's wild. Having I'm assuming a dozen or so bands come drag their equipment into the Chamber of Commerce, set up a full drum set and amps and mics, and then perform for a handful of chamber folks in suits and formal attire.
Yeah, and we went one after another, and I can't remember the order that we went. It's been 40 years, but I just remember thinking, oh my Lanta, there's a lot of good talent here. These guys, XYZ is doing great. Boy, she's pretty. She's going to win, or whatever, great voice. We just felt it was fun and did it for the idea of seeing Rick Nielsen and kind of being involved in something that was kind of larger than life when you're that age. Looking back on it, though, I kind of wonder, and I don't know this detail, but I kind of wonder, one of the mysteries was how many people actually sent in a cassette. Yeah, I did. Cassette, right?
Uh-huh.
Actually sent in a song for the contest. Was it just the people on the album? I mean, were the finalists the 5 bands that you see? I don't know that, but my adult self kind of thinks that maybe they didn't get a lot of a response to it.
I got to compliment you, Tim, on it. I'm a musician, and if you're only playing, I think you said like 3 years or so at the time. Those bass licks you laid down on that track are really, really good. You got a real good groove going on, and the thing is really working. I enjoyed it, certainly of the time period, but it sounded great. So you mentioned in your notes that you guys went to audio track somewhere in town and recorded this. Is that right?
Yeah. After the whole thing was done, we were called back, and the chamber said that they were going to create this album of all the finalists, and we were invited to go down to audio tracks, and I can't remember exactly where it was, Tom. I know it was on the west side in a warehouse. I can't remember if it was off School Street or off Auburn Street, but it was where a big warehouse where you walk in and there was Cheap Trick stuff everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 7th Street, maybe? Does that ring a bell? Maybe not. I don't remember.
No, it wasn't 7th Street at the time. It was across the river. It was a big warehouse. I remember that.
Was that your first time in a real recording studio?
No, it was my only time.
Your only time. Okay, very good. And how were the nerves on a scale of 1 to 10 when you were doing that? You remember that? I imagine they were pretty significant.
Oh, it was, and Jim DePriest, the leader of the band, he was a savant, if you will. So he was good. Frank Ryberg was comfortable. I was the younger of the 3, and I was having a real hard time tuning up. The guy had to come out of the box and tune my bass for me because I was just so darn nervous, and I had never played instrument with earphones on, listening to somebody else. Yeah, I had never done that, and then watching them lay the tracks down, track after track, and saying, oh, hey, we didn't like this. Let's go back and let's focus on this part of the song, or laying multiple tracks of voice, laying the piano over it. That was an experience that was really, really cool. We were in there for 3 hours, and it was just something that, at 17 years old, you're thinking, hey, there's Cheap Trick's equipment. When's Rick Nielsen going to walk in? This is going to be cool, and we had a gas. We really did.
3 hours is pretty quick. I'll give you credit. You know, that's pretty fast in studio time signatures. So that's good for you guys. You got that down there, and very interesting and very, very cool overdubbing and all of that. I appreciate that insight to that.
Tom, did you spend time at Audio Tracks?
I didn't spend time at Audio Track. Other studios in town later, the Noise Chamber with the great Jimmy Johnson, where I recorded an album and others. But that was a little bit later on in the years later and stuff. But that's really fascinating. So you guys recorded this, and then when you were done with it, you gave it to them, and then where does it go from there? How does it actually become the thing it became?
Well, that was actually the part of the mystery or the controversy. The winner of this contest, you're supposed to submit, be judged, and they would pick a winner at the finalist live performance. And when they picked the winner was supposed to get 8 hours worth of recording studio time at Audio Tracks, and then some number of pressed records. I can't remember the number. It was over 100. Maybe it was 100 cassettes, 100 LPs. And when they picked the winner, the winner was "Say Hello to Rockford," side 1. Track 1. And it's funny because we all thought it was kind of jingly at the time, and they were professional guys. So the controversy was that they were paid musicians. They were doing jingles writing jingles for local commercial spots, and the Moonlight Jazz Orchestra has been around for 42 years. They just broke up. But at the time, they were paid. They had been paid, paying gig professional performers.
So there's some Moonlight Jazz Orchestra members on this album?
Yes, track 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got it right here if we want to listen to it real quick.
Say hello to Rockford.
Yeah, Tim, you're right. It's a little cleaner than some of the other songs. You can tell there's a little professional edge to this one. Okay. I mean, and I believe you're the one that said it, Tim, not me, but cheesy is kind of right.
Yeah, it is. It was. But, every one of them could be a little cheesy, right?
Yeah.
But the controversy was when they won, some of the other artists pushed back saying, hey, these guys were professionals. So Dick Clark, ironically, with the Chamber of Commerce president, said, hey, we're going to do something. We're going to put together an album of all the finalists. And that's what they did. So this really wasn't the end result of what they were looking for. It was just basically to placate some of the complaints that the winner was a paid professional.
Oh, so just to wrap it up, the idea of this contest was to find the best quote unquote amateur band in Rockford to provide the Chamber of Commerce this jingle that they could use to promote the city. And then at the end, when they kind of got caught up in the rules, they said, well, all right, how about everybody just gets to be on the record?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. So from our perspective, we love that. It was like, oh, hey, winner, chicken dinner, right? Because we never really thought that we would win anyway. We were doing it for the fun of it, and just for that feeling of accomplishment. And then when they threw this at us, we thought this was really cool. And again, the bad penny scenario is that every time I turn around, there's always somebody saying, hey, I ran into this at Toad Hall in the record albums area. Boy, I didn't know you guys were on that album. And it's funny that you hear it at Cherryville Mall, or I did a long time ago. It's just kind of a neat experience from the past that I like to share. It's fun to share it because it's really kind of it's very Rockford-esque, if you will.
So I do have one conspiracy theory that you've added another layer to here. So you said Rick Nielsen was supposed to be there for some of the judging. He I don't know if he blew you off or didn't have time. His name is famously, I don't know famously, but misspelled on the album.
Yeah.
Do you have any inkling that was intentional for the slight given during the process?
I don't think it was intentional. I think it was just, again, the level of production of the whole event to begin with. He wasn't at the judging of. He could have been involved with the judging of the sample tapes, but he wasn't at the final judging. When I say he was a no-show, hey, that's what 17-year-old me wanted to see.
Oh yeah,
right. So it was kind of fun that way. But they did a good job for what they did. In fact, they took all this material and they put it on this album. And then Dick Clark decided he was going to write his own song, and that was the Way the Difference. That was the kind of the disco song 5, I think it is on the first. And you can really tell the professionalism there. The Make It in Rockford side B, that was the one that was in the David Letterman spot. And that was just a kind of a mundane, but I believe that one was produced out in California somewhere. Professionals as well. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned, I did hop on David Letterman's. I forgot the name of the segment, but
Dave's Record Collection.
That's right, Dave's Record Collection, which it was a segment I enjoyed from Dave. But you, like you said, it didn't really land on the show, which I think is a credit to the song being better than with the other stuff that he was sharing on Dave's Record Collection. This has been a lot of fun. Do we miss any stories that you wanted to share before we let you go here?
Well, the only other thing I would share is that when we were in the studio putting together our song, it was missing something, and Jim did a great job of writing the lyrics, writing the music, and performing multiple different. He played drums, he sang, and he played piano. But there was still something was missing, and Dick Clark, the chamber president, came through while we were recording, and he said, "Hey, do you mind if I play some strings machine, some synthesizer on this?" And he picked it up and played the string machine, and it just actually rounded out the whole song. So it was really kind of cool to see somebody who had, again, at 17-year-old me, see somebody who didn't know who we were, didn't know our style of playing, just come right into the studio and lay down some synthesizer work, and it worked really, really well. And it was one of those cool things that you love to sit around with a glass of wine, a shot of bourbon, whatever it is, and just kind of, hey, here's my 15 minutes of fame. It was 40 years ago, but hey, I've been waiting 40 years for this, guys.
And it's still happening because we're talking about it on the radio right now, Tim. So good for you. Did you go on and play more later after all of that? Were you in bands and things, or was that kind of a one and done situation?
I was in some, again, some local bands. I went to college, and a couple guys, and my brother and I played at a couple pavilions and such like that. But nothing serious, just for fun. I haven't picked up my bass in probably a good 10 years, 12 years. Life gets in the way of some things, but then it gives you some additional challenges too. So I own my own business here in Rockford, born and raised in Rockford. On the Rockford album, I mean, hey, what other kind of banner can you
good stuff? Can
you swing in the air? Yeah,
good stuff.
And as a thank you for coming on, you give your business a little plug. What are you doing here in town?
Oh yeah. Well, thank you. My company is called Data Point. We're a local company here in Rockford that do virtual server hosting. We do data protection, cloud backup, and we've got a co-location data center in Rockford where customers can put their hardware, their servers in a data center environment. We've been operating in Rockford for quite some time. It's fun to deal with Rockford companies and give back to the community. So that's awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you for the plug.
Oh, hey, not a problem. Not a problem. That is awesome. I'm glad you're still here in town, and I'm really, really glad you reached out to me and we got to talk about this. This was a lot of fun, Tim. And
anybody who's got one of those albums, get a hold of your group, and I'll come in for a signing.
Man, that is great. I will hold you to that. I will hold you to that, Tim. So thanks a lot for coming on. This was a blast. And solving some mysteries for me, and let me get some things done here. That's great. So have a good day, and thanks a lot for joining us, Tim.
Thanks. Pleasure's mine. Thanks, guys.
Not a problem. Thanks, Tim. That is Tim Goodwin on the Make It Rockford. What a cool guy too. I mean,
very cool. Yeah, very cool. Very well spoken. Good history. I'm sure there's a lot more on that. Get him on the Sound Matter show sometime down the road here. We can blow this up even more, maybe.